Hello, this is Geotech Land, and today I'll be taking a look at whether you should delete Facebook. This question is very complicated because there's many different levels and aspects to this. It's going to be different whether you're just an average user that uses Facebook and Instagram versus if you're a content creator like me versus whether you're like a political activist on Facebook. And all of them have different pros and cons when it comes to deleting Facebook. So let's take a look. If you like my content, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, PeerTube, and you can follow me on Odyssey. Alright, so to start, I'm going to talk about what the experience would be like for the average user when it comes to deleting their Facebook account. Probably the most common pain point would be losing touch with friends or family. And I can relate to this to some degree. I've long thought about quitting Facebook, for many different reasons, of them collecting my data and using it to sell to third parties. Not just the scandals with advertising or political advertising on Facebook, not just the Cambridge Analytica scandal, but just the overall privacy issues. And by deleting my accounts and giving Facebook less users, it makes them smaller, and especially if I'm moving on to other platforms, exclusively supporting alternative platforms like PixelFit or Mastodon or any other open source privacy respecting social media. And so when it comes to friends and family, there's only a handful of people, whether friends and family, that I keep in touch with on a more deeper level, you could say. Even though I have some distant friends, acquaintances, and even distant relatives that I follow on Facebook, I always ask myself, do I really need to be following everything they do? I do enjoy viewing content from, let's say, distant acquaintances that I'll probably never talk to or never meet up with, but I enjoy watching them, their life stories, whether an exciting job they got or having kids or traveling. And even though I enjoy it, I've asked myself, should I even be consuming and keeping up to date with people that are not going to be in any way, shape, or form a big part of my life? And I feel like the one thing I am giving up by consuming stuff like that is time. I'd rather devote that time to focusing on the people that matter to me, that are closer to me, and that I do talk to and will see on a regular basis. And so I've gotten rid of a lot of people on Facebook. Even though you could enjoy the content while it's there, when it's not there, you just don't miss it that much as you would expect. Yeah, if I wanted to watch, let's say, distant relatives, photos, if I'm close to them, I can just message them in some other way. Maybe with platforms like Signal, even just texting them oh, hey, how's this person doing? Send me a photo or something. You realize that you may not be giving up as much as you think in terms of family and friends. But again, that's just my personal experience. And I actually ran polls on this on my Twitter. There's only 24 votes, and it was about a split 50-50. And on Mastodon, I did run a poll, which got more people. And of course, this is people that have deleted Facebook. And I got some interesting responses. I was hesitant to get rid of it because I'd lose touch with friends and family. But, the people that matter to me the most, I'm still able to communicate with them, and it's fine. You might miss out on some things, but nothing that's essential to your life. That's kind of my perspective on it. I think it's good to just reevaluate how much would you lose. And I think the same things apply to Instagram, although there might be some slight differences between the two platforms. And honestly, my preference would be if I can get at least some of the closest people in my life to using Signal. That way I can support something that's more privacy friendly and that is an independent nonprofit. I'd rather support them than support a for-profit company like Facebook. And Signal's widely available everywhere on Linux, Android, iOS. It's a really good alternative to keep in touch with close friends and family. Now, when it comes to deleting Facebook or Instagram, from my perspective, my channel's perspective, it's a little bit different. On one, I have to consider the potential outreach I can do on Facebook, especially since I'm advocating for alternatives to technology. It's pretty much the similar logic as to being on YouTube, right? You could ask me, hey, you don't like companies like Google and data mining you, so why are you on YouTube? And I would respond that YouTube is very mainstream and it's a very effective way to reach out to the masses. And by the same logic, it's the same reason to be on Facebook. Although my Facebook itself doesn't really get that much interaction, so I don't think too many people are gonna miss that I'm not on Facebook. That may be the sweet spot, right? That may be the ultimate compromise. Sure, I'll be on YouTube and use it to reach out to the mainstream, but do I really need to be on Facebook or Instagram to reach out to the mainstream if I'm already on YouTube? Sure, I may be able to pick up a tiny percentage of people that would otherwise not view or find my videos on YouTube, but it might not be worth staying on the platforms. Constantly lean towards removing Facebook. As for Instagram, it's a little bit different because the people on Instagram are a little bit younger, and I think that I do get a bit more interaction on Instagram. I don't know how much it leads to actual views on my YouTube, but I get some meaningful interaction and likes and comments, so it's a little bit better. But again, I don't think it's critical. I think it's still going to be a tiny percentage of people that find my content on Instagram, and so I feel like it could go either way. And again, I lean towards deleting the accounts here, especially when there's going to be alternatives like PixelFed, which actually have more followers, more interaction, more comments here. I think as soon as the official PixelFed app comes out, and if it works really good, then I think it's going to influence my decision to quit Facebook and Instagram. It'll actually influence my personal Facebook and Instagram accounts, because then I could tell close friends and family, hey, you know, there's this viable alternative. It's got an app and everything, works great. It's very similar to Instagram, and that's PixelFed. So I think that would be a game changer when the official app comes out. And lastly here, if you're a political activist, I think it's beneficial being on as many platforms as possible, especially if it is true that a lot of older people are using Facebook and you're trying to persuade people through discussion and engagement. Then I think it's important to remain on there. I have a political channel, and I just don't see myself not being on Facebook, especially if I want to reach out to those people and, you know, engage in debates in the comments. So I think political activism is the one area where I think we'll definitely want to be there, where we'll definitely want to stick around on almost every platform if possible. As you can see, the question about whether you should delete your Facebook is very complicated. I think it's just a matter of everyone, depending on their use case, to look within themselves and figure out if it makes sense for them. You know, try not to stress too much about it. There's benefits to remaining on there, but there's also potential disadvantages. So let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with anything I've said here? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.